Hello Noble, welcome back to my channel. This is the Metatron speaking. And today we have a comparison video. We're going to compare two replicas of historical objects, and this is actually a video which belongs to a whole series of comparison videos. In this series we can also find a comparison between a good quality gladius together with a cheap gladius and a cheap Roman helmet compared to a good quality helmet. But today's comparison, which is going to be about medieval swords, is going to be a very strong comparison, because we're going to compare two objects which have immensely different level of quality. We're going to compare a very cheap medieval sword replica with a incredibly high quality replica of medieval sword. So let's get to it. Alright, so let's begin our comparison. Well, first of all, I think that at first glance, even if you're not into medieval reenactment, you can immediately spot that although these two swords are somewhat similar, perhaps, but still there are a lot of different points, if you will. But first of all, so this is the cheap one. I probably didn't even need to say that, but I'm still saying it. So this is the cheap one, and this is the good, very high quality one. And the first thing we need to say is, the first thing I would like to say is that when I received this sword, I was incredibly happy with everything. The sword balancement is perfect, whereas here it's just a joke. And also the quality of the steel, we will get to that in a minute. I'll tell you exactly all the differences. But when I first got this one, oh my goodness, like when I saw it, well, I'm trying not to use, unfortunately, all the words that I would like to use to describe this at the moment in my mind are disparaging words, but I can think of much more gentlemanly ways to get the point, the intellectual point. So yeah, I'll try to do that. What swords are these? Well, this is a oaken shot, type 12. So we're talking about 13th century Germany, so to speak, and it's a knight sword, a sword which was very common among knights. The first point that we're going to address is the kind of steel. Now, what steel has been used to produce a sword, particularly the blade, is a very profoundly deep question, an important question that needs to be addressed, needs to be asked. Now, in the case of the extremely cheap sword, we're talking about stainless steel, all throughout the blade and the hilt. In the case of the good quality, very high quality sword, we're talking about spring steel. It's been hand forged, it has been tempered. So, the difference of quality is definitely not up for dispute. Let's examine the blades. In the case of the cheap sword, we have one long piece of steel, as I said, stainless steel, which, if you ask me, it's good for cookers in the kitchen, but not for weapons. No difference in the thickness of the blade throughout the entire sword, and the blade has not been fullered. In the case of the other sword, the actual oaken shot, you can see that we have a fullered blade with proper distal taper. Let's talk prices now. How much of a difference is there between these two swords? Well, the very cheap sword can be bought at any, look at the sound it makes, this thing, rattling sound. This sword can be bought at any shop on the internet, and it will probably cost you around 30 to 35 euros, so incredibly cheap. This sword here, however, it's going to cost you more than 10 times this price. So we're looking at around 450 euros. Now please keep in mind that these swords are made by machines, whereas these swords are handmade. And this sword in particular was made by sword master or sword makery Elgar, and I will leave a link below to the shop that you can find online. I always, I actually already made a video review about this sword in details, but I will leave all the details about this sword in the description below, and you can go and check out this fantastic sword maker. 40 euros for this, honestly, it's not a sword. I kept on calling it sword throughout the entire video because I was trying to be politically correct, but to be honest, I'll be quite blunt here. This is a piece of shit. Excuse my French. So what I'm trying to say here to you, who I believe are my friends, don't waste your money here, your hard-worked money. This is not worth it. Don't do it. Save up your money. If what you want is a real sword, save up your money, buy an object that it's going to last, that you're going to leave to your children. Alright, then I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please remember to thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't, for more content from the Metatron. And remember, the Metatron has spread his wings. Goodbye.